Hello YouTube. This is going to be a quick, simple little review of my newest camping toy. It's called a chuck box or a camping box. I had wanted one of these forever. Once I started doing more hunting and car camping and truck camping, it seemed logical to put all your kitchen stuff in a box that also served as a kitchen. There are several different manufacturers of these. They're generally selling kits on the internet. You can buy fully assembled ones. They start at about $200 and run all the way up to $1,500 or so. This is one of the least expensive ones on the market. I think the base price on it's $195. It's from a company called Arizona Blue. They have a website, www.camping-boxes.com, which is where I purchased it. This is the double chuck box. It's double because it has two doors. One's a narrow compartment that's 3 inches wide. They obviously also make a single that's just missing that 3 inches on the end. But yeah, let's just take a quick look at it. This is the main compartment that would be the same if it was a single chuck box. See, I've got my compact Coleman stove in there, pots, pans, Coleman oven, coffee pots, coffee mugs, cups, paper towels, seasonings, everything you need. You get to camp, you pop these legs on, pop the drawer down, you're good to go. This side I added my camping silverware, and I did some modifications right away. I added these little eyelets to hold the plates and the silverware, and then I inserted these bolts in to act as a lantern holder and a paper towel holder. These are the same bolts, by the way. I normally call these furniture nuts because this is a furniture leg, but the bolts are what you insert, obviously. And I drilled the hole and then mounted these the same as the legs are mounted. But now I have a spot for paper towel holder when I have the stove out. And I also have a nice spot to hold a very heavy Coleman lantern. If I can find it, there it is. As you can see, I'm still putting stuff away. And yeah, this took what, a couple minutes, and your kitchen is essentially set up. Works out great. I couldn't be more pleased with the functionality of the whole system, with some exceptions, which we'll get into. Delivered, I paid for some upgrades on this. I paid for a clear coat finish, also paid for Formica on each side. Delivered, my price was about $325. Definitely at the lower end. It's all made out of 1/2-inch plywood with supposedly stainless steel hardware. It comes as a kit, comes in a small box. You have to assemble it. On the website, they say that it takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. That's probably about right if everything is just screwed together. We'll kind of go over some of the flaws here. It attracted a ton of attention at the campground. I have a very nice canvas tent, and we had the canvas tent set up, and then the camp kitchen with the lantern, and multiple people came by to check the whole rig out. Where'd you get it? How much did it cost? You know, did you build it yourself? It's very cool, functional. It is heavy. The box itself weighs 42 pounds. Then obviously you add your own the oven and the stove and the silverware and all that, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that added 20 pounds to it. So you're lugging around something that's, say, 60, 65 pounds. It's not a problem. I slid it in the back of my truck. It's a little difficult to get the legs on. They recommend a table or the edge of the tailgate, and you can put one side of the legs on, flip it around, and put the other side on. It's definitely not something you want to haul over any considerable distance, but this is, for all practical purposes, glamping or luxury car camping or truck camping. Yeah, it works great. I am very, very, very happy. I'd wanted one for a long time. Kind of go over some of the things that I was disappointed with, or I had to fix already. I added these little L brackets when I glued everything, and afterwards I've been wrestling around the garage and I've had no structural issues at all. It is very solid, very rigid. It should last a long, long time. Some of the things that actually failed the first time out, you see these nuts. I think I've referred to these as furniture bolts, but they're actually a nut that's designed to bite into the wood. Get these out of the way. And they were recessed, which was nice. The problem was that when we loaded this in the truck the first time, we left these bolts loose so that it would be easier to put the legs in. In the process of shifting around the back of the truck, because these were backed out, when they hit something, it actually pushed the nuts all out. Somehow we managed to get all 8 of them loose in the short ride to the campground. So then when we went to put the legs on and we were spinning these, the nut was spinning free on the inside. To correct that, they have now been glued into place, and you can see I added little stainless steel screws to keep those from backing out. That shouldn't happen again, and that problem should be solved. The other problem is one of the guys at the campground was a little rough with one of the doors and opening and closing it, and just kind of gave it a quick grab and jerk and actually ripped the small screws that came with it out of the hinges. Their website actually shows the use of a continuous piano hinge. I think they probably went to something a little bit less expensive. These hinges are fine. To solve that problem, when I got back home, I bought some 3/4 inch stainless steel nuts, or bolts, and I guess they were probably actually machine screws, and some nylon nuts, and went through the door. So now there's no way this door is coming off these hinges ever. A minor issue as well is these cables were originally designed to rest in these locks. When you folded it up, they tended to come out and come loose, and so when you first opened it and brought it down, there was nothing to prevent the door from over opening, and again causing stress on the hinges. I added some eyelets, closed these shut. Everything is secure now. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Should last a long, long time. One other, I obviously said I made this modification. This is a 28-inch furniture leg. I just installed the nuts, like I said down below. This is just a simple 12-inch furniture leg. Did one there and one there, one for the lantern, one for the paper towel holder. Oh, the window hinges, window latches. Did not come with those. Added those. You can see it does shut and latch. But when you're trying to wrestle it, it's so big and heavy, there's a tendency to grab and then pull this open. And we didn't want anything, I didn't want anything coming loose while it was being moved. So these are simple window latches, and I installed them. And now, during transport, or even at camp, when it's closed up for the night or for the day, everything is locked up and secure. Locked up's a relative term, because you could also do some type of a padlock situation on it if you wanted to do a cable to secure it and then have it where the doors are locked shut. But this was fine for my purpose. And yeah, it looks good. As far as fit and finish, I mean, in addition to the, the fact that it needs to be glued, it'd be a great project, a weekend project for an individual, or if you wanted a scout group, or if you're going to teach your kids a little bit about woodworking, it'd work great for that. It's not hard. Screws together with screws, and like I said, with just the addition of the wood glue, it should last a long time. It fit together perfect. There were a lot of cut errors and screw hole, I won't say errors. The fit and finish was not perfect. You kind of look down the side, you should be able to see where the plywood kind of bowed out slightly when the screws went in. A couple of the cuts weren't very clean, they were very rough. The finish itself, they used a nice sanded plywood, a finished plywood side on everything. Both sides were finished. It looks good. The legs were unfinished. I added a coat of poly to them, and it looks like they need to be sanded and need another coat of poly. It was pretty straight. Everything was pretty straight. The biggest thing was the doors, and I saw a picture on Facebook of one of these that was used, and I'm gonna show it right there real quick. You can see how the door is warped slightly there. That'll probably get worse over time, and this door over here likewise is warped slightly. There are more expensive kits out there is what it comes down to. For my purpose, for wanting to leave this setting at a campground for the weekend and have it exposed to the elements, this was perfect. But like I said, the price I thought was reasonable for how functional, how great it is. If you are going to do something that you want to pass down to your kids, like an Orvis fly rod, you probably ought to go with one of the more expensive, one of the expensive kits. Don't know that there's really anything else that needs to be said about it. Once everything's glued and screwed and a little extra support and a little extra bolts here and there, the kit's fine. It looks good. It's functional, fairly inexpensive. Yeah, I think it'll hold up my lifetime, and if the doors ever do get too warped, it's a rectangular sheet of plywood. I mean, it can be replaced. I'm more of a function over beauty, and this is definitely one of those items, although it is very cool. That's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said about it. It's cool. It's heavy. It's functional. I'd say that about sums it up. I'll put a link to the website where you can buy them. I'm not getting kickbacks or anything. They probably may even wish that my review was a little more generous, but it is what it is. There are no reviews of these that I found anywhere on YouTube, so I wanted to add one so that if you choose to buy one, you'll know exactly what you're getting. Appreciate you watching, and everybody take care.